Hi, I'm Secondhand from Archery Supplies. This is the Hoyt Stratos 36 with the SVX cam. So it came in my shop secondhand. Now the first thing is, customer comes in, the bow's basically like brand new, okay? He's been working a lot, so he hasn't been shooting much and the bow looks like effectively brand new. And what surprises me is whenever this customer buys a bow, the first thing he does is sticks new strings on the bow. So he doesn't normally shoot the Hoyt strings. He normally goes and buys gas strings, and this is not an ad for gas, but they are good strings. It's what he does with all his bows. He buys lots of bows, right? And so with this bow, he hasn't fitted the gas strings, which is, I find interesting. Anyway, he's bought the new Hoyt, so the new Hoyt concept. So this is the SVX. This is the fast cam. Now he also owns a HBT in this version. So the HBT is meant to be a smooth cam, right? So a lot of shooters in this state and a lot of shooters around the world said the SVX is a more accurate cam to get consistent with. Now, I suppose I want to shoot it and want to discuss that. So there have been people who have won with this cam, and there's been people who have won with the smooth cam. Hoyt has gone for the smooth cam now. You don't have a choice between the fast and the smooth. You still do have a choice with PSE who've got the fast cam and the smooth cam, but Hoyt has gone away from this. The problem with the SVX cam, and this cam in particular, this cam has got a draw length adjustability from 26 to 27 inches, and in the half inches you need modules. So you've got to go and buy a module. So this is fitted with a 27-inch module. So let's say you want to go to 27, you can't. Sorry, if you want to go to 27.5, you can't. If you want to go to 28, you can't. You want to drop back to 26.5, you need to buy new modules. With the HBT, you can rotate the module to a certain extent, not as much as a PSE or as an Elite, but it does have some adjustment, right? Now with this bow, the Stratos, lots of success on the world international stage with the shoot through riser. Now there's no tuning system on this bow, so like you'll see the new Hoyt hunting bow has got a limb tuning thing, so you can basically wind up and wind down the limbs, a bit like the PSE of 15 years ago. Same technology, same as what Darton's using, same as what other people are using, but it's different. So, but it's the same concept. You're winding up one limb or winding down one limb, so you wind up the limbs independently. This doesn't have that option. So what they used to do to tune this bow, you've got yoke system, so you can twist up the yokes here, or you can move the cam left or right. Okay, so it's a bit of a pain for a shop to come in to tune the bow. So one of the things I want to talk about is when you go in to trade your bow in or to sell your bow, have a price in mind. Because don't go into the shop and go, I don't know how much I want. Because you do know how much you want. If you don't know how much you want, I'm going to say $100, okay? Because I just can't be bothered with it, right? I don't have the time. I'm not going to be bothered, okay? So what I did when this customer came in, and you know, long time customer, long time friend, I looked up what this has sold for previously. So there's one of these for sale at a shop for $1,700 secondhand, and there was a guy in this state who sold one for $1,500 with an arrow rest on it, secondhand. Now I think $1,700 is too much for this secondhand. This bow used to sell for, this is Australian dollars, so if you're American, just halve it. This used to sell for 2,700, 2,800 Australian dollars. Okay, so at $1,500, you know, $1,000 off. Look, the way I go with secondhand is I go, look, I think what it will sell for, and then if it doesn't sell, I just keep dropping the price until it does sell. So for me to buy a bow of someone, it's a risk because I don't know what it will sell for. Okay, so I don't know if this bow will sell for $1,500 or $1,000 or whether it will sell for $800. I've got no idea. It will depend on who's looking at the time who thinks this is good value, who's got a 27-inch draw length, right? I think this one is a 60-pound bow, so it's suitable for target archers, but someone needs to be 27 inches in draw length. There is not that many archers in Australia who shoot target who want a Stratos 36 at a 27-inch draw length. There's just not, okay? If you say how many target archers want a 60-pound target bow, whether it be an Elite, a Bowtech, or a PSE, which has got all the draw length adjustability or the poundage adjustability, then you've got lots of archers, okay? But as soon as you've gone 36 inches axle to axle with a draw length specific, you've now limited your sale. You're making this bow very hard to sell, okay? So as a shop, if you're taking this on, you're taking a risk, a big risk, right? So when you have a price on what you're prepared to sell it, to get for it, and bear in mind the shop's got to bear that risk, okay? Because if you sell it to the customer and the customer dry fires it, you're going to go, hey mate, I'm not bothered with it, right? The shop has to deal with the problem of the customer dry firing the bow and breaking the bow. The shop has to deal with the taxes, right? So I've got to pay 10% of whatever I sell this to the government, right? I'm going to spend 2 hours generally with the person selling this bow to the customer, setting it up, fitting everything, fitting a peep sight. Right, so, okay, so this is the bow, the customer shot it, he shot great with it, and when I say great, he actually does shoot great, okay? Fantastic scores, world-class scores, okay? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, we just need to fit a bit of wax here because it's a bit dry, all right? So I go like this, right? So I can wax it here. Right, so now on this cable guard, you'll see there's 2 little dents. Hopefully you can see, hopefully there. That's where there's Allen keys. So in here, under that 36 is 2 Allen keys that have come loose, okay? Now you wouldn't notice that unless you took the pressure off the cable slide. So as a consumer, this was moving around. Now, I'm going to say it probably didn't affect his shooting. So what we get every day is people talk about tuning and, you know, my bow doesn't shoot that well, or shoots well one day, not well the next day. Look, it's going to be you, and I don't want to have a fight with you about that, okay? It's just because the bow's going to shoot the same all the time. But this being loose is not a good thing, but as I said, this guy shot when I say incredible scores, because some people say they can shoot, right? They say they can shoot, and I hear this literally every day. I'm a really good shot. There are levels to this. So if I'm like, you know, like I've won championships and stuff, I'm a fairly average shot, and you know, people say, well, you're better than average. Still, compared to the people who go away and represent Australia, I'm a pretty average shot. They go, you're an average shot, right? Like I can, if I practice and I trained, I will shoot close to that level, okay? But the variability in me is still massive, okay? So it's quite possible that one day I will shoot average and the next day I will shoot better. Absolutely happens every single day, right? But when this is loose, but I say this because it's a common theme that I get all the time and I don't want to have fights with people, right? I was shooting with a young man the other day from the state, and he was shooting, his first arrows come out, they go out like this, out of the bow. I was like, Jesus, that bow is set up really bad. And I was wondering whether I set it up or whether he set it up. I didn't say anything because we're shooting a competition. Next target, arrows come out. I was like, well, he's still shooting okay. Like, he's in the middle, and anyway, third target, arrow comes out dead straight. 6, 6, 6, like in the middle. It's beautiful. Arrows shooting beautiful. Rest of the round, the arrows are shooting beautiful, right? Like, they're just shooting like darts. It's because he would have been talking the bow. For the first 2 targets, there would have been a bit of nerves, and then he just relaxed into it, and he started breaking good shots, and they were just all going in the middle, and I think it would have been a state record or something. It was a big score, right? One of the biggest scores I've seen. But the first two, they were coming out, right? Good shot, okay? So this here, I'm going to have to try and lift this using a razor, risking damaging it. That's just a little sticker. Now that will be stuck on with 3M tape. So I'm going to try that now. We're going to fit an RS to it, and we're going to have a couple of shots to tell you what I think of this cam system compared to the HBT and compared to other bows that I've shot, to give you a review of what I think of this bow. Okay, so I've lifted off the little 36. I used a sharp knife. There's two little Allen keys under there, and they were loose. Okay, so tighten them up. Don't use too much force. They're going to go into a carbon rod. But I just tighten them up and it's nice and secure now. Okay, so my comments about this bow, the paintwork is when I say rough finish, this is going to be hardy, right? It's not going to chip like some paints. It's going to look like this in 10 years time, all right? The limbs have got lots of paint on them, so these are going to look good in the future, right? The cam system is very solid. It's a pain you can't adjust the draw length. If you're a Hoyt fanboy, you're going to go, oh, that's fantastic, because it's exactly what you want for the specific draw length. And I'm going to say, well, the new Hoyts haven't done that. But the new Hoyt hunting bows have. So I don't know what Hoyt's doing with that, because that just seems crazy to me. Where you only have like, I think it's 1 inch draw length adjustment on the new Hoyt hunting bows. But anyway, that's what they're doing. Shoot through riser. This is like the limbs are pointing forward, so it's very much like a PSE Supra. So you're going to feel a bit of force when you shoot this bow. It's going to jump forward in your hand. It's not going to affect your accuracy. Okay. Bows where the limbs are more parallel, like your Matthews Titles, your Elites, I'm going to say Bowtech, they're going to counter, the limbs are moving upwards and downwards, so they're going to counteract each other. They're just going to sit in your hand, right? So this bow is going to feel more vibration when you shoot. Doesn't affect your accuracy, just more vibration, right? So let's have a shot and see what it feels like. This bow is 27 inches to draw length at 60 pounds. I shoot 60 pounds on my normal compound. I shoot a 51-pound recurve for target shooting. So it starts off, and it's hard. And I'm just going to lay that down. You can't feel the valley, right? If you're starting off on archery, I would not recommend this bow, right? Start with a bow that's easy, right? If you pull it back and it's hard like it was for me then, don't shoot it, right? Start off with the poundage lower so you get used to it. This cam is going to be more suited for someone who's experienced, who shoots a lot. Okay, that's what this bow is made for. So I'm going to shoot this shot. And I've never shot this bow before or this cam before. Okay, so this is my first shot ever. I'm going to say I like bows that are smooth for hunting and for target. I've had the fast bows. I prefer smooth. It's easier on my shoulder here. I get a lot of people who get shoulder injuries. I'm going to say work on your muscles for your shoulders. But this, I can feel it. I can feel it. Oh. Okay, I own a PSE full throttle, the fastest bow ever made at 370 feet per second. This feels like that, okay? When it broke, it was like, the let off feels like 40% let off. It's 70, right? but the valley is so small you feel like you're holding peak weight. Okay, and when it broke, so I'm sitting there aiming, when it breaks it's like, because all the pressure that you're holding just explodes. So I'm going to say, if you're an experienced archer and you shoot hundreds of arrows, this bow, you'll shoot this bow well, okay? Because with a normal bow, you've got this valley which is like this long, and you can just, you know, shorten your valley, creep while you're aiming. And I often watch people shoot, and you can watch their arrow sit in the bow, and their arrow will gradually move forward like this. You can't do that with this bow. As soon as you let that valley off just a smidge, it's going to pull. So you're pulling hard against it the whole time. And then when it breaks, because you're pulling hard, it breaks, which is good, right? That's what you want. But for me, it's just... It's not a comfortable bow to shoot. It's not saying I wouldn't like to shoot it. Well, I wouldn't like to shoot it. If I shot all the time, because I shoot a recurve and you're shooting, you know, you're physically holding 50 pounds, it's hard, right? It's hard, and that's why you shoot recurve, because it's hard. This is hard, it's going to be hard to shoot, but it's going to shoot well because you have to shoot it well. So as a shooter, you've got to be shooting well to shoot this bow, and then when you shoot it well, it will shoot well, if that makes sense. With a normal bow, the valley's so spongy, you've got so much variance that you can shoot poorly and still shoot well. Okay, you can't shoot poorly with this. You can't let off your back tension with this bow. It's and you can feel it, poof, and the noise. It's often, you know, like with the modern hunting bows, they're silent. This was like bang. It was like the full throttle to shoot. So my summary is, it's a nice bow for someone who's into archery. So someone who shoots every day with a 27-inch draw length, who wants to shoot at a national level. This is a good bow, right? It's a good bow. For someone who doesn't know what their draw length is, you don't buy this bow. For someone who's starting, you don't buy this bow. But for someone who wants to shoot at a high level, who's got a 27-inch draw length, who's going to shoot every day, who doesn't want to spend $3,000 on a expensive target bow because that's just a waste of money, this is perfectly good. So on the, do I prefer the HBT to this? I definitely prefer the HBT in draw cycle, but this will be obviously faster. The same applies to the PSE. I found the smoother SE cams much easier on my body, and overall in scores, so I've shot a lot of bows over the time, I shoot about the same scores with them all, okay, within 1 or 2 points. So it's not like it's the bow, it's generally the archer. So, but anyway, that's the Hoyt SVX Stratos 36. I'll put some stats there, a bit about it. But overall, this is I really like this thing here. So this is for the rear stabilizer. So the rear stabilizer bolts on here. This little bolt stops it moving up and down. This is clever. Very clever. Other companies should have done it, and I assume there's a patent to stop them doing it, but that was clever. Anyway, I'm Secondhand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. Bye.